We look forward to seeing you out there in your town. So don't miss us. We're coming around to deliver the goods for you one more time.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time on the channel, hit subscribe right now. There are few people in the world that deserve the title of heavy metal legend more than KK Downing, co-founder and iconic guitar player of Judas Priest. KK left Priest over a decade ago, and well, we'll come back to that in the interview, but he is back today with KK's Priest, which sounds amazing. KK, thank you so much for your time today. There's metal in the air and Hellfire Thunderbolt is on our way. You're firing on all cylinders. That song in particular is a statement. Perfect introduction. When you wrote the song, you knew this was going to be the first new piece of music you would release on the world?
Yeah, well, I didn't really know while I was so engulfed in putting the record together, but when the decision came, I thought that would be the obvious one,
In many cases, when a famous guitar player starts a new project that is sort of under their name, there's a lot of focus on a lot of solos. That artist is very much front and center, but what is very noticeable from the get-go is that the entire band gets their time in the spotlight. This is not just the KK show. I assume that was a deliberate idea. And what made you take that decision?
Absolutely. A band is a band. And I'm kind of, dare I say, old school because I go back, obviously, before electricity. Yeah, because I used to like bands, because now I have the opportunity to write, produce and do everything the way I hear things, and kind of I go back to the 60s when you used to hear bands in the 60s and 70s. You could hear everything, and of course you wanted to hear everything. I wanted to hear every note that the bass player played. You had to, and albums were mixed that way, but we seem to have lost that somehow. Everything seems to have got oversaturated. Because I said to Tony, I not only want to hear our bass player Tony Newton, so I not only want to hear every note that you play, I also want you to be featured as well. But it all happened pretty quickly and quite easily. It wasn't difficult, and I guess that's if you know how you want to hear it, it's a lot easier to make it that way. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And I'm featuring, obviously AJ on the other guitar. Everybody gets a full share because it's a band, and I think it's more powerful like that.
I am going to do my very best not to ask you questions about Judas Priest, because there's a million interviews that you've already done, and in all of them, you have to answer questions about Priest. And it feels that nowadays, there's maybe even more press around, that band and your project. And these days, every comment that is being made is turned into an online article. It almost feels like there's more hype around you than even in the 80s. Is that something does that excite you as the rock star that, let's be honest, you are? Or would you really prefer to just be in a pub right now and have a few beers?
No, I think this whole thing is absolutely tremendously exciting, and you can imagine how I felt when I started to put these songs together, you know, and it was so easy because I didn't have to collaborate or confer with anyone else. I could just do it the way, just get on with it, you know. Because it needed to happen very fast because we had a major tour going out last year, you know. So we wanted to deliver the record by the end of April, and I didn't start till Christmas. So it was like 4 months. So we were on track to do that. So it was going at a rate of knots. But it was so it was tremendously exciting, but it was so sad when the COVID thing hit. Really, it just had to like put the brakes on us, and it just went skidding away into oblivion, you know. But it would have got done, you know, if it hadn't been for COVID. We would have been out there on tour by now, and we had shows booked this year. So it's a bit frustrating. But I said to the record company, we just got to release the record, just let it go, you know, and I'll work on another record, which I've already started to do on the next record, which is sounding great as well. So hopefully we'll just get a tour lined up as soon as we possibly can, somewhere in the world, and make a start and just keep going.
You say you had no pressure or didn't have to collaborate. You also, you know, at this point in your career, you have nothing to prove anymore. At that time, though, is that then still a little scary when you, for the first time, really release an album under your... It's not necessarily completely your own name, but I mean, it's clear it's KK's Priest. How was that for you to put your own name on something and there's nowhere to hide?
Yeah, well, I thought about it hard and long, Jasper. I'm thinking, you know, about, okay, there's a band, what we're calling the band. And obviously, and I thought about it, and you know, it was hard. You know, I just didn't want to leave my life and my legacy and my heritage and everything about me in the past, and just cut it all off and start with a new style, you know, produced differently. You know, I buy new amps, buy different guitars. You know, I am me, and I'm of an age now, really, where I worked so hard and for so long being a priest. You know, those guys I've never met. There's guys I've never met being a priest, playing my songs, you know, standing on stage where I did, you know, making money from doing that and doing what they do. But if they can be a priest, why can't I still be a priest? Yep. Why should I stop being a priest? I offered many times to step back into that role, you know, where I was, you know, felt entitled to be, and was shut out. So, you know, I'm thinking, right, well, I'll call up my friends, obviously Ripper and Les Binks, and we'll go out there, and we'll continue the legacy, you know, because even though I'm separate from them, there's still a legacy on this side of the fence also that needs to be continued, the style and the legacy, as I've always done with my songwriting and how I play, how I perform, everything I deliver up. If I'm going to continue, then I can't just start new. I can't just start fresh. You know, I can't just like say, okay, yesterday, you know, I was in a band called Judas Priest, and now I'll be in a band called the Flying Tornadoes. All I want to do is write songs that the fans will like, hopefully, and go out there and play some great shows.
Yeah, and those fans, if you read through all the comments and everything, the consensus seems to be Well, it's a shame that KK is no longer in that band, but now we have two priests, and that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, because I mean, I was the guy that was really loyal.
Yeah.
Rob left for 12 years, 14, whatever it was, formed 3 bands. You know, Glenn left for 6 years and did 2 solo albums with Cozy and John. You know, but I was the guy. I never had the inclination to want to play with anyone else. Why would you when I actually play for the mighty Judas Priest.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want to do anything else?
Well, I just want to say that I've noticed that in a lot of the interviews that you've given recently, there were many times that you still had to correct certain misconceptions or people use the wrong words, if you will. Is that a frustration when that has to happen over and over?
Yeah, because in 2010, at the end of that, we were planning to do a farewell tour. We were planning to retire, all of us. We were planning to end the band. I have all of the press releases that were intended to go out. You know, then I announced that I wasn't going to do the farewell tour, and that's all I was quitting. That's all I was retiring from.
Yeah.
I just wasn't going to do the farewell tour because I didn't believe I would enjoy it, because we weren't playing well as a band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and I didn't want to end my career doing a tour that I didn't enjoy, that I hated, doing. Yeah. You know, I wanted us to do a tour where I felt the fans were getting 100% from us.
Yeah.
You know, and they hadn't been getting 100%, so I went no. You know, so I did. So I opted out. So I fulfilled my part of the retirement agreement. But I didn't know they were going to carry on for another 10 years. Raise your fists in the air. Let's rock the nation.
And so here I was promising that we wouldn't be talking about Judas Priest, and lo and behold. I'll take us back to the present. Maybe with just a quick side question, because I'm a sucker for great branding. And who came up with the double case in the logo? Because that's just phenomenal. I love that stuff.
The gentleman's name is Andy Pilkington, and he did all of the artwork for the album, including the symbol that you refer to.
Yeah.
He's a very talented guy, and I wish he'd return my phone call because I've got something I want him to do. But no, in all fairness, it's a holiday fortnight here in England.
Yeah.
I think he's got 2 daughters, I believe, Andy. So I think he's just getting back off holiday. So please, Andy, call me because I need you to get onto this project for me. I've got some more work for you. But yeah, very talented guy. So I'm happy that we've got this going. Like I say, I didn't want to leave the priest behind, because I feel as though there's an entitlement, and I feel as though there's a lot more to give from this priest.
You know, it's definitely your second wind, as we would say. It's also, by doing this, you create a second wind, or I don't know what the right word is, maybe even a redemption for Ripper. When I grew up in the 90s, you know, the priest that I got to know as a teenager was the Ripper priest. And it was a tough time for him, I think, in the 90s to fill very large shoes, and certainly didn't get all the credit, or, you know, the credit, I think, is a good word, from the community or the fans when he took over. I think this was very challenging for him at that time, but he is a great singer. Now that he's, you know, been in the Iced Earth Oven and in many other projects, is now really the time. I think the time is really now for him to shine, and this is a perfect time for Ripper to get back on the main stage.
Yeah, and I hope so. It's exactly that, really, because he deserves it, not because he's such a great performer and singer, as we know. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping that when we can get going and things go, things go well for us, that Ripper will find a good home here, as a part of this, and we can just do this full time, and that's what we fully intend to do, and hopefully we can have enough success that we'll be able to sustain us to do exactly that.
Yeah. So for those fans like myself who are in their late 30s, early 40s that got, that experienced the Ripper Priests in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, I should say. Any chance for us to maybe hear some of that era songs live, reinvented by KK's Priest?
Absolutely. I mean, when we did the show at the Stillman, I think we played Burning Hell and Hell Is Home. That's right.
Yeah.
We did that. So that was lots of fun doing that. With Ripper, that brought back some good memories. Yeah, but absolutely. We've all got our favourites. I would definitely like to do Cathedral Spires. I think. I don't think we ever did that. That would be fun to do. But we'll see. I'm sure there'll be a big consultation or confrontation.
We're brothers of the road, and we rock. We're burning up the...
If I'd have chosen the presets throughout the years, they would have been different.
Right.
To the collaboration,
No.
They would have been different, So obviously, there's some songs that I would like to play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said in 1988 in an interview that now that you guys were able to cover Johnny B. Good, anything goes, or anything is possible. So I guess that we'll see some unexpected surprises from you.
You will. You will, because this is KK's choice. KK's choice. But definitely, I'm always happy to listen to the fans. But obviously, everybody's got their own favourites, as you say. It's kind of difficult. It is difficult to do a set list, but I think it'll be good. Whatever we do will be great to do.
With all this experience now and all these, some tough choices you've had to make, in your autobiography, you write a lot about the early days and you as a younger person. I know it's a cheesy question, but if you had a chance to now, in hindsight, give any sort of advice to younger KK, anything that jumps out that you would love to share, a little piece of wisdom?
Well, like I said before, I see an awful lot of musicians and guitar players trying to reach too far into the future. I think to try to do something radically different, a bit too different, I mean, and I think that trend started to happen in the early 90s, really. When you suddenly had so many different types of metal, Death, Speed, all types, so many different types. People trying to do, and it's great if you can actually do something that's unique, but it's not that easy unless you start to put masks on or you have this like radical images that do work if you get it right. For bands like Slipknot, Ghost, and obviously Kiss, they're really past masters at it.
Yeah,
that's the point. I think Kiss are going out. I don't think they've confirmed their support band yet, but we did tour with Kiss, and they're great guys. In the 70s. But yeah, I mean, advice for the young, musicians, maybe look to the past, to find the future, because there's so many great elements and attributes of great things that have happened in the past. Those elements are still very important because people still like them.
It's a hellfire! Thunderbolts! It's a hellfire!
And that's why, like Sermons of the Sinner, you would probably say that is probably maybe 90% in the past and 10% in the future. I don't know, 80-20, I don't know, somewhere along those lines. But because of me and who I am, and I've been around that long, it's going to be like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's what I do naturally, you know, because there is a percentage in the future, because these are new songs, you know, created with a new combination of musicians, you know, and it's a new album. And so that's kind of the future, the newness. But so much of the content is so familiar.
Yeah. So the future and the past and the present all come together in the new album.
Exactly.
KK, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I've heard what's coming still from the band, and I think you're gonna make a lot of fans very, very happy. Can't wait to see you on the road. And again, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jasper, and we'll definitely see you there in the old square, mate. You can buy me one of those big liter steins of
No
beer.
worries, I'll give you all the beer you can take.
Okay, mate. You take care.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.